Monday, everyone. This is live stream number 11. And right now, if you're watching this, you are watching the recording because we haven't gotten anybody in on the live stream yet. If you're watching the recording, thank you so much for taking the time to do that. Go down in the description area. You will find my email address. And I would love if you will send me any topic you would like to see on this live stream here. It is June 5th. It's a beautiful Monday morning, and so happy that you're taking the time for this. Today's topic, it's a little bit of a couple of different things. Some important news. I want to show you a couple of Fusion 360 tips, just because I kind of felt like I had to throw something in there. And then I'm gonna show you something from last week that I kind of learned some new things about and cool stuff like that. So again, just appreciate that you're taking the time to jump in here. You can see that we already got a couple of people in here. Hello, Joel. Thank you so much for joining. Let me just also paste in my email address in the chat here. So you have that. See, I'm learning to paste instead of writing it out. So if you have anything that you would like to see in these future live streams, send me an email. And of course, like I said, if you're watching the recording, the email is down in the description area. So a couple of things I want to a couple of things that I want to cover this morning with you. Is a couple of things that goes back from last week. Hello, Eddie. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much, Neil. Awesome to have you guys jumping in here. Bright. Well, for me, it's Monday morning. For some of you guys, I know maybe it's afternoon or something like that. So, what are we going to talk about? First thing I want to talk about is Rob Lockwood. So, Rob is an awesome guy, and last week I did a live stream where Bill had asked a question about the best way to have an assembly in Fusion, but wanted to break it down into individual components that you could work with so you could make special fixturing. And then he wanted to, but still wanted things to be linked. Now, what I showed, let me just switch over to, I'm going to switch. There is Rob's YouTube channel. We're going to come back to that for a second. So what we talked about was that there is out on the Idea Station a suggestion where you can save each component out of the assembly and still have them linked. Now, Rob put in the chat that, well, he actually kind of have the way to work with this. And if you don't know Rob, definitely go out to his YouTube channel. It is down in the description area if you're watching the recording. And you know what? I'm going to post it right into the chat too. Rob is awesome. I owe him a few beers, steak dinner. He's just a great guy. And he actually created a video in regards to last week's discussion, where he, this first one here, the first video you see here, where he actually goes into detail about his workaround with the issue we had with Bill. So I definitely make sure that you go and watch Rob Lockwood's video. Subscribe to his channel, especially if you want to get into cam. This guy just is great. His videos are awesome when it comes to cam. He also have a Instagram account that you should go out and follow. If you can't find him, send me an email and I'll shoot you the link to his Instagram account. He makes some cool stuff. I think he sells knives and things like that, and really top-notch guy. So, but if we're jumping back into Fusion, pretty much, and again, go and watch Rob's video. But pretty much what he does, and I'm going to just kind of do it cool here, is we had the assembly. What he suggests is that you open up, so let's say we wanted to work on this round piece right here. That you open up a new design in here and you save it, because you should always save the first one. And I'm just going to call it round stock. And then what you do from here is that you wait for things to come back. But you love doing live. So what you're doing now, and I think this is a great, Rob is right on, is now you insert this whole assembly into that current design. because now it's going to come in as linked. And then when it comes in here, you get that free move. You can just forget about that. But now we can go in here and we can hide the different components that we don't want to work with. And now we can work with our fixturing and everything in here, and things will update. So that is absolutely a great workaround, and probably maybe also why maybe development haven't done pushing that other thing, because this kind of works. I still would like to see the other thing. But Rob, thank you so much, buddy, for doing this. I'll owe you a beer. All right, so that was one thing. Definitely check out his YouTube channel and Instagram. The next thing I wanted to talk about was something I just learned yesterday, and that's in regards to branch and merge. Now, some of you guys are right now thinking, what the heck is branch and merge? And some of you guys are like, oh yeah, I know what branch and merge is. Branch and merge was something that was in preview in Fusion until recently. So data management, some of you guys are familiar with this. So if you have multiple people who's working on a design, and you kind of like in data management, you want to make sure that somebody has the rights to the file. They kind of like check the file out. They work with it, and everybody else cannot touch that file because it's being worked with right now. And then it gets checked in again, and it kind of like goes through a process. That's kind of like data management, the idea of it. Branch and merge was, I think, a clever idea. I never really had the chance to dig into it myself and really play with it. But what it was, it let you kind of like break a component off from the original components. Now two people could work on it, and that was the branch. And then later on, you could merge it back in together. So two people could work on the same design, and then later on, you can kind of like merge them together. That was taken out. It was taken out of Fusion, out of preview, very recently. And the reason for that, as I understand it, is because there was some things about it that the development team wanted to do later on. Like down the road, they wanted to do some more things with this data management, and branch and merge didn't really fit very well with that. So they decided that, you know what, we're not going to try to, develop on something that we don't really think is going to work down the road. So we're just going to pull it back. So some of you people who have never played with branch and merge, just forget about it. You're good. No, just have a sip of coffee. For you guys who did play around with branch and merge, you have until I think July 15th to merge things back again. So if you did play with branch and merge and you now have different designs that are branched, you have until July 15th to merge it back. Now if I go back into Fusion, it sits up here, this whole branch and merge deal. And I can't really show you. You can see the things are now grayed out because, they kind of stopped using it. So I guess the idea is that if you have things that is branched out, you now will have an option to merge everything back together again. If it goes past June 15th, you can still merge things back together again. You just need the help from the support team. So if you contact support, then you can get back. So you're okay. There's nothing that's going to be broken or anything. But yeah, thank you so much for all you guys who did go and play with the branch and merge. Just need to know that they're working on something better. So that is out. Like I said, if you have never played with it, don't worry about it. The third, I have a list up here, and that's why I'm looking off the camera. I don't want to forget anything. I wanted to show a couple of tips and tricks in Fusion, but there was one other thing that I missed showing you last week that I thought was pretty cool. I was kind of showing, we had a live stream about handling your projects, and I talked about using the Fusion on the cloud where you can collaborate and you can kind of show markups and things like that. One thing I didn't know until I watched a recording yesterday. I just love learning new stuff. And of course it opens up on the wrong monitor. So let's go out to, this is the one that we're looking at right now. Now I have all kinds of stuff open here. Let's see. So here's kind of like that thrown together thing here. Now you have up here, you have versions where you can see the different versions that were saved out You can of course also see that inside of Fusion. We can see right here that we have the different versions of the mold. And this is actually maybe something else we should talk about another day. Well, let's talk about it right now. So just to show you know, if I clicked on that version right there, see it opens up this window and it actually shows, I can click here and say show all 5 versions. So this is every time that I saved in here these versions. Just so you know, you can always move a version up. So that's what this little thing here called promote. So if I click on this right now, it's actually going to promote number 3 up till number 6. That actually means that number 3 and number 6 will be the same. But then the latest version would be what it was at number 3. This is why I love this whole version thing. Now, I'm of course going to show you a tip just in 2 seconds about how you can save without creating versions. But honestly, I don't really care how many versions I end up with. Like when you're working in this process, I can see that some people are thinking that, well, if I show my boss that I have, 68 versions, he's going to be like, wow, didn't it take you a long time to create that? But I really don't think so. I think like it's just great to have these versions. But I'm getting distracted. If we go back to out here. So one thing I didn't know that was out here, what I think is absolutely awesome, is that there's a compare version in here. How cool is that? So now if I click on compare version, and I decide that I'm going to compare number 5 against number 4, and I click this, check this out. It actually comes out with this little window here where it shows what have been modified, what have been added to the part here. So, I can spin this part around. We can kind of like take a look at this. And if I click on the component down here, then it comes out here and says, that this was changed. And if I move the model a little bit, look right here on the side, right around here. If I click on version 4, you see I had a little tab sticking out there. I hope you can see that. Right? And now I can see that it's not. Okay? Same thing if I go and I click on component number 3. You would see version 5 look like this. Look at version 4. This tab's going to go away. How cool is this little feature here? And then, of course, the component that was added, you can see that kind of like sticking out with it, the green. So how did I get to this again? So if you are inside of Fusion, you click up on the name of the project you're within. That is going to open up Fusion on the web, or A360. And if I go into that file that we were looking at here, right up here, there is version in here. And right up here, you can see all the versions. And right over here, you can compare version. I absolutely hope that is a helpful little thing, wouldn't you say? I hope so. Cool. All right, I just want to look in here. We got 36 people in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us this Monday morning. I really hope that this kind of stuff is helpful. So if you just jumped in, definitely go down in the description area and check out or look in the chat and check out Rob Lockwood's YouTube channel. He did a video where he shows a great workaround on the whole thing we talked about last week with Bill's example on how to break a big example down to smaller components for CAM. Check that out. Be aware of, if you played with branch and merge, that July 15th is when it is gone. So if you have anything branched out, make sure you merge it back together again. If you never had a chance to play with branch and merge, just like me, don't worry about it. And that little trick there I just showed with comparing versions, I think is absolutely awesome. I agree with Eddie. That is absolutely a cool tool. I can see there's already things going on inside of the chat. I'll check on that in 2 seconds. But before I do that, I just wanted to show you the 2 tips that I wanted to give you because I felt like that I had to show something inside of Fusion today. I don't know if it's 2 tips or one of them is maybe not a tip. One of them is maybe just what I would call good practice. And that is whenever you're working inside of Fusion, get in a habit of naming your different components. You see how this here is called component 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 4 was deleted. Computer 3, 5, 6. You know, I can't remember what I had for dinner last night. I mean, like, so 3 weeks from now, your customer's going to call you and say, hey, remember that part you worked on? And you're like, kinda? Or think about it like this. If you're sending this model to somebody else that had never seen the model before, taking the 2 seconds it takes to go in here and naming, and the way you can name is you can slow left click and it comes up here and you can call this, you know, whatever makes sense. So we can call that one cavity plate, right? We can call the next one is maybe a core plate. Whatever kind of makes sense. But going in here, left slow click will let you rename. I think you can also use probably F2. That's a Windows command. Maybe not. But slow left click, and we can go in here and name things. And it's just going to make things a lot easier in here. So just get in that habit to do that. It's just a good practice. You can actually also naming things down here. So if I click here, you will see that this is called extrude 1 down in the lower end. You can actually go in here, and also if you right click on these, you can actually rename these, and that can actually be good practice too, right? I mean, like right, I mean, like, you can put things in here that will, so now we'll show down here things that maybe just can help you keep things straight, or maybe when somebody else is playing with it, can get them to, you know, helping them figuring out what the heck this is doing. And that also reminds me, of course, you have this play button down here where you can play through how things was kind of like modeled up. I do that a lot if somebody sends me a model and I'm trying to figure out what the heck their issue is. I many times will hit this play button down here and just kind of like go through, or you can go through step by step down here and kind of like see how they model that. Now, the other thing that I want to show you is I was talking about how, you know, if I save, right now we have version 5 right here, and now I just lost my mind here. Hang on a second. I just gotta double check. If you want to save, if I hit save right now, then this will be version 6. Right now it's version 5. You can see that the save icon is already up here, and it's gonna be version 6 as soon as I hit up here. And I don't really, like I said, I don't think this is a bad thing. But if you want to save your file but don't want to create a version, you can actually do that. And it is holding down Control, Shift, and then S. Then you're actually saving, and you will stay on the same version. So Control, hold down Shift, and hit S, and you will save without creating a version. So I can't really show that right here, but I hope that makes sense. Cool. All right, we were about 18 minutes here. Got about 38 people watching. I hope this was a little bit helpful. This is being recorded, right? So if you just came into the live stream and you're like, man, you know, why did I miss the beginning? This will be up on the YouTube channel as soon as YouTube processes it, but it takes, I think, about 20 minutes or something like that. But I really hope that this was helpful. I hope this was worth your Monday morning, afternoon, wherever you are. I'm going to do what I normally do here. I am going to stop the broadcast, so if you're watching the recording, but I'm going to jump into the chat and just chat with you guys for a few minutes, making sure that I just say hi to you, all of you guys in there. I see that Rob Lockwood jumped in here. So Rob, thank you again so much for creating that video. If you haven't seen that, go click on the description area in the video. You will see the link to Rob's YouTube channel. It's awesome. And yeah, so until the next time, I hope that you have a awesome day and, go and make something cool. And for you guys in the chat, see you in a second.